Centric Smart Campus, data mining analyze, course recommendation, and personalized campus concern, which be abbreviated to PCC. Like smart cities, the attempt and development of the smart campuses relies more or less on the partnership with large companies. The mission to produce smart cities has been critical for being overly technocratic and top-down in orientation, serving the interests of states and corporations more than they do those of the citizens. In response to these criticals, the decision makers and developers are starting to reassess the importance of being citizen-centric. Moreover, in my research of how people might think about this citizen-centric smart campus, they have limited knowledge. Thus, my first task is to help them find what they really need and help the decision maker know more about their students. Here is my data mining analysis about the UQ Wi-Fi user. So in this section, you can just have a brief look about this. I divide this into two R-script files. You can just skip the data input file. Look at the readme.me to read about how to use that. Here I will give you the demo about this. So briefly, from the line 1 to line 95 is the data preprocessing. And if you just complete this, you can just have a look about this. And next part is the KNN. The classification technicals, which I divided into the KNN and the cut tree. The KNN, which is you can just have a look about how to how to find the nearest neighborhood. For example, if you set k from 1 to 3, and you can just find k's nearest neighbor of the input value. And for example, in next section is the C tree, the cut tree. Is you can just have a look about this, how to divide the user into different classes. And I also use the updated version of the cut tree, which is the random forest. So you run this code on your own if you feel interest. And next section is the clustering, which divided into the k-means and the agglomerate clustering. So in the k-means algorithm, you can just use the longitude and latitude, which means you use the spatial temporal information of one user to predict which cluster they are in, and represent by different colors. Agglomerate clustering, you run this code line by line to separate these codes, users into different clusters. Next part is the course recommendation, which I set this into private because I think it is very new. There are not a lot of theses cover this section, so I just write a thesis about this and submit the thesis. So, but you can have a look about this cross-crowding. In this section, I use the sparse matrix and to calculate its similarity and to give you best option to choose the course using the content-based and the user-based recommendation. The final section is the personalized campus concern, the PCC, which you can also see in my GitHub page. So briefly, you can just have a look about all of those different architectures and frameworks. In this development, I use the Linux plus Nginx plus MyCircle plus Redis plus PHP. I'm still doing that. It is not finished yet. So this is the end of this demo.